4 tools: an Airbnb expert and a whiteboard. Let's go.
I like it. I rock with that.
Hey, welcome back, Clever Investor. Sperber here. We're back in the studio with the Airbnb expert, the man himself, Tijani. He just slayed the podcast. We shot another video. If you haven't seen that one, we'll drop a link to it down in the description or pop it up somewhere on here. In that last video, we talked about what different strategies to get into the Airbnb game.
Yep.
Crushed it on that video.
Appreciate it.
Now I want to know how to be the laziest, most profitable Airbnb host on the planet. Like, man, I want to automate, delegate. I don't want to do any work. I just want to collect checks, get paid, baby, sit on a beach with a drink with an umbrella, and not have to do stuff the old school, hard school way, right? And you're my mentor. You're the person I go to. And by the way, I was able to scale to over 50 Airbnbs because this guy, I called him and I said, how do I set this thing up to run it like a real business? Now, you said something to me that really resonated. Don't be treating this like a hobby. What did you say?
I said if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to cost you like a hobby. But if you treat your business like a business, it'll pay you like a business.
I love that. And we live in the age of technology. So how do I run this thing? Because it's not as simple as just buying a house, putting furniture in it, throwing it up on a listing website and getting paid.
Yeah.
What are the systems and tools and structure? Like, let's go over the top 4 that you would recommend for a new host to use to be able to, you know,
absolutely.
Be me, lazy. Let's go.
And the good news is that, like he mentioned, this business was birthed at the age of technology, which is great, meaning that you're able to use systems and technology to help you scale your business and do a lot of the mundane things and be lazy like Cody, like he mentioned earlier. So here's the thing. Number 1, highly recommend channel manager starting off the muscle, because your channel manager is what's going to bring a lot of your listings from other listing sites together. That's one benefit of it. Another great benefit of the channel manager is the fact that you will be able to communicate with your guest in an automated fashion. So the guest communication piece actually rolls right into the channel management piece. One of the very key features in a channel manager is the fact that it will automate your guest communication experience. And trust me, that's one of the things I messed up on when I first got started in this business, because I was spending way too much time replying to guests on the phone. You want to make sure that you are replying to these communications automatically, because it's what's going to help your response rate, which needs to stay at 100% if you want to stay relevant on Airbnb for sure. So,
all right. So when we're talking about a channel manager, like, you know, I have Airbnb, I have VRBO, I have my own direct booking site. Is a channel manager the thing that ties it all together?
Absolutely, and that's essentially what it is. It's also being referred to as a PMS, property management software. Channel manager, PMS, same exact thing. Ties all the listings together, and you can check out sites like Guesty, Toki, Lodgify, Hostaway. Understand that different channel managers have different features. I recommend do your research for sure and go with the one that resonates with you and your business.
What do you use?
We use Guesty in our business.
Guesty.
Okay,
and about what does that cost?
Guesty, for one, they're the biggest channel manager out there. And Guesty could be on a more pricier side, could be up to about $50 per listing per month. And that's why I recommend Guesty for like people that are a little bit more seasoned in the space for sure, because they are the one-stop shop. They do everything. They actually purchase other channel managers in the process, but definitely check out Guesty, or there's some other great ones. Hostaway's a good one. People have good things to say about Lodgify. I've used Lodgify in the past as well. Tokeet's another one. Definitely Onerez is another one that has a lot of good reviews. Your Porter, which was actually purchased by Guesty recently, is another one that you can use for sure. So they're definitely different.
So it's worth the cost, because because I know for me, like I have like we have a lot of Airbnbs now, and like a guest comes in town or a friend comes in town, I text my manager, property manager, and I say, hey, block this off.
Yep.
It would be so annoying to have to go to 30 different websites. Exactly. Yeah. All right, I get it. All right.
Absolutely.
And it also does guest communication?
And so, yeah, literally one of the main features for a lot of channel managers is this guest communication piece. Oh, Hospitable is another good one for channel management that does an amazing job with guest communication. So this is another piece that you want to make sure that you have right. Will save you a ton of time. You can get this part right. Have your guest communication templates. That way when somebody replies to you, they send an inquiry, they book, you have an automated message that goes goes out based on the triggers that happen. So definitely want to get this piece right for sure.
Now, are they built, like, are these pre-written communication things? Is this something you have to go and create?
Yeah. So you would have to go and create this. Of course, we have templates that we give to our community that they can use, tweak. It's actually really good as is, but they tweak it, kind of make it their own. But there's a template for every single trigger that happens. Somebody cancels, somebody requests a book, somebody sends a question, somebody actually books it, somebody wants to book it, but it expired. Whatever the case may be, the pre-approval expires. There's a reply automated that goes out to every single one of those triggers for sure.
Okay.
And you want to have that. Dynamic pricing is a very important one. Dynamic pricing is very crucial because, for one, pricing your units dynamically will actually make you an attentive host. And dynamic pricing is important because you want to price your units like the ways the hotels do. You want to do that. So if your pricing is too stagnant, then for one, you're not attentive and you're leaving money on the table. So dynamic pricing is very important, but I like to say dynamic pricing doesn't solve your pricing problems. It's very crucial, but it doesn't solve your pricing problems. It's not a set it and forget it situation. Set your dynamic pricing, that way it sets your minimum, your base, and it fluctuates your pricing automatically, but you will still need to keep a pulse on it and still add rule sets to your listing itself on the OTA itself to still maximize your listing. But dynamic pricing is very important in the beginning process as well.
And I need that right away, because you're saying that if I set it at $200 a night,
yeah,
and it just stays at 200, the algorithm on VRBO or on Airbnb is saying, man, you're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention.
You're not attentive. That's what you mean by
Exactly.
attentive. Okay.
Exactly.
But if it fluctuates by $5 or $10 or $20, and it's like the airlines, man, they get you. You refresh, and all of a sudden the
Exactly.
ticket pricing gets more expensive. You're like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
But it can bring you in a lot more money.
It can bring you in more money.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And you'll be able to adjust to the market, and you will be able to maximize even high days to make sure you're not leaving money on the table for sure. So dynamic pricing is crucial because it'll help you SEO, and you make sure you're not leaving money on the table. Fourth thing, listen, I'll tell you right now, I've cleaned my unit one time because I had to, because my cleaner bailed out on me. And so it was one of the worst things I ever did, because I had to leave a party to go clean my own 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit that took me 5 hours to clean. So never again. We want to make sure we're managing the cleaning process properly. You want to make sure you have a cleaning management software. We love Turnover B&B that we use for our cleaning management software. And what's good is that issue that I just had of my cleaner backing out, you can actually source cleaners in these softwares as well and find cleaners and have backup cleaners in place. One of the rules that I learned very early in my process is always have cleaners, even on a backup, because you don't want to get caught with your pants down like I did.
You don't want to be out there cleaning.
Exactly.
Now, question for you. How much is AI going to affect this stuff?
I think AI will affect a lot of things a lot, even just with the short-term rental space. For one, AI is already making a lot of strides in the short-term rental space with helping people come up with the perfect description for their listing, helping people market the listing properly in creative ways. So AI is definitely already playing a role in the short-term rental space. But I definitely think I can see AI influencing probably all of these tools, especially. I mean, you think about dynamic pricing with AI, I can see AI influencing all of these softwares, and it's on the way for sure.
Yeah, because we're messing with AI right now, and it's so good that it could literally have for guest communication, it can literally communicate back and forth.
Yes, back and forth.
And modify where it takes the guest based on how they respond.
There's AI right now that is used for guest communication for short-term rental businesses that it literally responds as a human. Even the small mundane questions that usually tend to be answered by a human person, AI will answer it as if they're a human person. You can hardly tell the difference, and that's only going to get better with time.
All right, cool. All right, so those are some very powerful tools. Thanks for sharing those. How do we fund these things? Because that was the other big question from the last video.
Yeah.
Is, all right, cool. You showed me the different ways to do Airbnb business. Now we just gave them a couple cool tools to run their business like a business.
Yeah.
How am I going to pay for this dang thing?
Oh man, so funding is a whole nother strategy on its own, right? So we're talking about arbitrage, or we're talking about co-hosting. There are different ways that you can fund. Now, if you're co-hosting the right way, most of the time, the actual host/owner is funding the furniture. Now, there are some situations where you can chip in on the furniture depending if they're giving you equity on the deal. There are different ways that can happen, but in most cases, you're not spending money on furnishing with co-hosting. Arbitrage though, you can leverage private capital for sure. So if I was to come up to you, Cody, and say, hey, Cody, hey, listen, I'm setting up 2 units. I need 15 grand to set this up, and I'm gonna give you 20% return on your money. What I'm gonna do is 30% of the gross income that comes in is automatically gonna be paid out to you. You're gonna get your money back in about 6 months with our agreed interest. So you get to get your money back plus additional interest on.
So I'm a financial friend. Let me get this right. So people, this is important for people who are like, I don't have money. You'll never have a money problem in the real estate business. You just have a creativity problem. So you come and say, listen, I'm a great host. I'm running it like a business. I got my whole tools. I got everything ready to go. I need $15K for the furniture and to get everything up and rolling.
Yep.
And out of that, I'm gonna give you a 20% return on your money. I'm gonna pay you out. It's gonna take about 6 months. You get 30% of all the income coming in that I produce. It's gonna go right to you until you're paid off.
Until you're paid off with our agreed interest.
Boom. I wanna make 20% of my money.
Absolutely. And that's an easy sell. It's an easy sell. So you can definitely leverage private capital. Of course, business capital is also a big one. So leveraging business credit. We like Prime Corporate Services, and Cody, you can definitely drop a link in there.
I'll put a link. My boy Steve Harward owns that business. He's helped a lot of our students get business credit. Even if it's $5 grand, $3 grand, 10 grand, like it doesn't have to be a lot to get you started. But if you had 10 grand of business credit, you can get your first Airbnb.
We love Prime. Prime helps our community as well get secure business credit for their units as well. So leveraging business credit's another big one. Actually, some lower hanging fruits. People don't even realize that if you get a PayPal business account, you can literally apply for a business line of credit. Even with a brand new LLC, they won't give you much, but it's a net 30 account. Once you pay it back, then they're gonna give you more. Amazon Business Prime, that's another low-hanging fruit that people can apply for a line of credit with Amazon Business Prime account. And they won't give you much, but they'll give you enough, maybe a few $1,000s to get going in your business. And once you pay it back, they're gonna give you more. And that's another way. It's a couple of low-hanging fruits right there, just to get some business credit, even with brand new entities, to get going in this business for sure. So business credit is gonna be a big one. And of course, it could take a few months to get like the big money, but man, you work on that business credit, the opportunities are definitely amazing.
Start now.
Start now, exactly. Then of course, pull your bootstrap up. You say, I don't wanna do OPM. Then you can do cash, right? You can leverage your own cash to really get things going as well.
Are you saying to take your lazy ass and go get a second job and save some damn money and live below your means and actually do this the right way?
You can actually do it. Yeah,
I like it. All right, but the one I'm really excited about and how we're gonna end this video strong is
ownership.
Ownership. We want to own, baby.
We're trying to own.
All right, how do we buy houses?
Listen, I'm leading this thing off right now on my favorite way to own: creative financing. Which when we're talking about creative financing, we're talking about owner finance for one. Owner finance, we're talking about sub 2, taking properties over subject 2, and we're also talking about lease purchase. Now, what I love about lease purchase is lease purchase also almost combines the best of both worlds. Now we're talking about combining arbitrage and ownership. We're signing a lease agreement with our business that we're gonna arbitrage this property on the front end. We're also signing a purchase agreement at that time. We're agreeing on a price on the front end. And at the time the lease term is over, we can execute the purchase. It's another way that people are getting creative. If you're gonna go with a lease option, few recommendations. I would recommend that 10% of the rent that you pay goes towards a loan. Don't put down more than 2%. 2% is usually the max that we do in our business, because we don't want to put a massive down payment down on an asset that you don't have title to. So we're only going to put down 2% at the max, and that counts towards a property as well. We factor in the seller concessions as well, usually around $3K. That counts towards the purchase of the property. Also, you can just put away 10 to 20% of your gross income. Just put that away. That way, what you're doing is you're stacking up the different incomes and the monies that you'll need to cover your down payment at the end of that lease. So lease options is another great way to get into the short-term rental game, owning these short-term rentals. We love subject to. That's pretty self-explanatory, taking over the current note. We love that. Owner finance, man, one of my other favorite ways, especially if these properties are free and clear. One of the always primary things that we try to negotiate with owner finance is principal-only payments, even if we have to overpay. We just talked about that on the podcast, right? So that is one of the ways that you can these are ways that you can get it. I'm gonna throw in the last one in there, wraparound mortgages, another great way, which to me, wraparound is essentially owner finance but the property has a loan on it, right? So there's actually a first position, then you're gonna create a second position. So these are amazing ways to own your short-term rentals. Now, these are skills. What I recommend, these are tools. These are skills and these are tools. Not every deal will work these won't work for every single deal. These are tools, but your goal should be a transactional engineer, right? Be a thinker, be a transaction engineer, so where you can see, okay, little equity, no equity, it's free and clear, it needs work, it doesn't need work. You'll be able to look at any deal and be able to know how to profit from it with creative financing. That's why I love creative financing for sure. Private capital, I also like to associate this with hard money, capital as well, to purchase your short-term rentals. Of course, with this strategy, you want to make sure that you create enough spread, buy the property with private capital, short-term money, fix it up, add value, force appreciate it, refinance, get out of it. One of the things that we actually love to do if we leverage hard money is while we're factoring our rehab budget, we actually factor in our furnishing costs inside the rehab budget too, as well. And so this way, you get your rehab done, and your furnishing is covered by the lender as well. And so that's another way that you can get into this little to no money by leveraging, and you still own the property. Bank financing, of course, that's a traditional way of doing it. You want to put down 20%, you want to put down a down payment. The traditional way, you can still leverage and grow your short-term business this way. To me though, this is the slowest way, right? Because you have to put down a hefty down payment. And if you want to put down a down payment for every single one of yours, yes, you're still gonna grow your business. You're not trying to set the real estate world on fire. You want to create and buy maybe 1 or 2 short-term rentals a year, then yes, you could definitely go and just leverage bank finance and put down 20%, 25%, 10%, whatever the case may be. But if you want to get creative or leverage private capital,
those are the ways to go.
I like to call them gangsters' ways.
We don't go to banks and fill out a mountain of paperwork this big, only for them to ask you for more stuff.
Exactly.
Checking your credit and all that stuff. This is why we called ourselves the clever investors, right? You got to be clever in this business. Absolutely. So you can work around these hurdles like going to a bank. Screw that. Oh, yeah. Don't put anything on your credit. Don't personally guarantee anything if you don't have to. Just work out a deal directly with the seller. Get them to participate in the financing. Yeah. I love it. Great tools, great financing structure. Absolutely. Anything else?
Man, you hit the nail on the head. Every time you're looking to buy a deal, you know the number one question I always ask, how can I keep the banks out of it? How can I keep the banks out of this transaction? If you have to, bring the banks in. But your first priority should be, how can I leverage this deal without getting the banks involved?
I love it. We're gonna put TJ's YouTube channel in the description down below if you wanna go check him out, show some love, and hopefully you got some value out of this. Look, I wouldn't have been able to scale my business without this guy in the short-term rental business. We're printing cash right now. It is a great time to be in this business if you run it like a business. So don't wing it. Winging it's not a strategy. Be a pro. Pros make money. All right, this ain't no hobby. We're here to get rich.
We're gonna treat it like a business.
Let's go, baby. Until next time, we're out of here. Take care. Comb your hair. Peace.
Peace.